Hey, what's going on, everybody? So I'm doing a quick, short review on the HP Elitebook 8540W. I haven't seen many videos of this laptop being reviewed in a very long time. It is an old laptop, but still being sold today on eBay. I paid $375 for this one off of eBay. It was listed as a gaming laptop. It's not really meant for gaming, and just wanted to kind of talk to you a few things about this laptop. It's running a Intel i7. It is I believe this is the first generation. It's a dual core. It is a i7 620 mobile, um, built-in our CPU. I'm a little out of it, so apologizes for that. And it's also got a NVIDIA Quadro um, 8800M 1 GB DDR5 GPU. My advice to a lot of people out there who plan to get this laptop or have been thinking about getting this laptop, before you buy, make sure you ask the seller if they have any knowledge of if the thermal paste has been replaced on the CPU and GPU chips, because if they haven't, you're going to have to do that yourself or find a tech that can do that for you. This laptop, when I bought it, it was running pretty hot. I've had this laptop running now for a few hours, and it's running very cool. It's not running hot at all. Granted, I am using my AC unit right now, and the temperatures in my room are probably in the 60s or 70s, or mid 60s, I should say. This laptop doesn't come with a webcam. The one that I got doesn't come with a webcam. It's got a built-in light up at the top, up there, that little square box that you see at the top of the lid. That is a little light that turns on. When I got this laptop, I have two issues, which one will only affect you, the other one shouldn't. Um, Heat was a big issue with this laptop. It was running extremely hot. I had to go out on eBay and buy a special screwdriver that is called a Trox screwdriver. It is a T8, by the way. You can look that up. Just look in the description for the name. You'll need one of these to replace the thermal paste on the CPU and also the GPU. When I replaced my thermal paste on them, they were rock hard on the chips, so I had to use some rubbing alcohol and also a razor blade to scrape the thermal paste off. If worse comes to worse, you might have to buy a new heatsink for this laptop if you can't get the thermal paste off. And you want to be careful when you're scraping the thermal paste off, because if in case it is dry, it'll be like cement on there. So it's going to be kind of hard to get that off. I didn't have much luck with rubbing alcohol getting it off because this stuff was cemented on. So I had a bit of an issue with that. If you plan to replace the thermal paste on this laptop, there are 3 screws underneath this case that lock in the keyboard. There are also some clips towards the top by the F keys. You'll have to push them down this way to be able to get the keyboard out. There's also screws that lock in this top thing where the power light is. There are 3 screws. You'll have to take the battery out, and there are 3 screws, I think, or 4 screws underneath the battery tray that you have to take out, and to be able to get to the heatsink on the CPU and GPU. The heatsink is from the escape key down to, I think, the shift key, and then down to the M key, and then up to about, I think, the F8 key is where the heatsink runs. There are ribbon cables underneath the keyboard, so be careful when you lift this up. There's also a cable that runs on the LED here, the LED for the LED lights and the thing. You will need to take this top thing off, like I said, where the LED light is for the power button when you go to replace the thermal paste. My advice, depending on how much you use this laptop, is that you replace the thermal paste at least once every year if you use it a lot. This laptop runs kind of hot. It's a beast laptop. It's a mobile workstation. It's meant to run for a long time. And I think these are 2010 model laptops. So they are, if you're getting them now in the future, the thermal paste on them is pretty much used up on them if they've been used a lot. So you will need to replace the thermal paste. That is a mandatory that you do when you get this. If you plan to get this, hopefully you know what you're doing. If you run into heat issues after you get this laptop, that is a thing that I recommend you do first, is replace the thermal paste. It's relatively simple if you worked on laptops before. If you don't know what you're doing, you never worked on a computer before, find somebody who can do that for you for a reasonable price. So this laptop, and then my focus is going to go out because I have bad lighting. So there are, that's the ventilation right there. There are two USB ports behind the ventilation, and there is I think this is I believe this is right here is a display port. I can't tell what it is. Yeah, it looks like it's a HDMI port or display port. The other one, I'm not too sure what it is. I don't have the chart on me offhand. This one is a USB 3.0 port, and then there's a FireWire port, like you've heard many times. There's a microphone and audio or headset jack. Your LED light indicators right there. Your touchpad, your keyboard. It's got a little nipple button like the ThinkPads do. The problem that I had also was the Ethernet port. So when I turn this laptop, I'm probably going to pull out the Ethernet cable because whoever had this laptop before me was pretty rough with it, I guess, and I guess damaged the pin that locks the Ethernet cable in. So I'm trying to get this over a little bit so you can see there are two USB ports there by the Ethernet port. And then there's also an Ethernet port. And I believe there's also a dial-up port as well. And there's also a lock station. This laptop does come with a fingerprint reader, a biometric reader for you to be able to lock the laptop to your finger. Like I said, it does come with a Intel i7 and also an NVIDIA Quadro GPU. It's also got a smart card reader towards the front, right here. And this is the open button to lift the lid up. This laptop is not meant for gaming, like I said. You can play some low-end games with this laptop. Low-end games like Maple Story, for example, or Dota 2, League of Legends, anything that doesn't require a high-end game, high-end GPU. You can also play Minecraft with this laptop. Like I said, low-end games. You won't be. I doubt you'll play anything like Grand Theft Auto 5 or Battlefield 4 or any new Call of Duties or anything like that. I have seen people playing Dota 2 on this. I've seen them playing some Need for Speed and stuff like that with this laptop. Like I said, this laptop is a workstation laptop. It's not meant for gaming. I'm trying to get the lid up. I actually put the lid down, so I have to do this with one hand. I have to see if I can get this correctly. I don't want to buckle the lid. All right. I'm actually recording this with my tablet, so if it's terrible, hopefully you understand. I'm working on getting a camcorder here when I get some money to get one. But yeah, this laptop is not meant for gaming. It'll run some low-end games. The seller that I bought this from on eBay claims that it'll run games on it. It will run games. It's just this GPU was meant for rendering stuff, so if you require a lot of rendering, it's good for rendering like models and stuff like that. Like game modeling, I guess you could say. I put in a solid-state drive for the main drive, and then I'm also using the drive that came with this laptop. So I believe I got 250 gig hard drive in this as my backup drive. It's also running Linux on it. It's also got a Kingston V300 120 gigabyte solid-state drive. It wasn't the best solid-state drive, but I got it for $60, so I'm not going to complain for a cheap solid-state drive that helps with a little bit. The read-write speeds on the solid-state drive are not super great. They're only the 400s, a little over 400 read-write speeds. You can get a better solid-state drive like a Samsung for it, but I didn't want to spend a lot of money for this laptop, so that being said, I'm not going to spend a lot of money on it. It's a really nice laptop. It's built with quality, I might add. It's a very heavy laptop. This one is 15 inches. Weighs, I think, about 9 pounds. This is something that is basically a beast. The battery life on this is pretty bad. I bought a new battery. It's a 8-cell battery. And the 8-cell battery lasts about maybe an hour, give or take, depending on what I'm doing. Like I said, this laptop has really, really high-end hardware for a laptop of this age. To be honest, I think this is some of the best hardware that the laptops had at the time. This is a business class laptop, I might add. It's not a consumer build. This isn't something that consumers would own. This is something that businesses would own for their employees to use in the fields or in a data center or in an environment where they want to have a system that'll stay on 24/7 and never go down on them. Like I said, this laptop was meant to last. It'll probably outlast a lot of the consumer laptops on the market right now in 2015. I wouldn't be surprised if this laptop is still running just fine in the year 2020. I believe $375 was a good deal for this laptop. Many people would disagree, but for a workhorse laptop, it is pretty beast. It's got hardware that eats up a lot of battery life compared to newer laptops these days that are more energy sufficient. That save battery life. Since this thing has hardware that eats up power, it'll drain the battery a lot faster. So I'm going to work on doing some videos of me playing games on this. I only have a 120 gigabyte solid state drive, so I'm limited to the amount of games I can install on this. But currently I am going to be trying to play some Rose Online with this computer. I'll get back to you guys when I'm playing that. Here are some temperature readings from software. Now, I need to contact HP or look up online how I can locate in the BIOS the temperatures for the BIOS. You don't really want to rely on software temperatures to show you what the temperatures are for your system because they don't give true readings as the BIOS does, because the BIOS is actually programmed better to give you better temperatures and whatnot. But as you can see, this is a NVIDIA Quadro FX 8000M mobile. It's got a dual core processor in it, and I'm running two drives. One is a solid state, and the other one is a backup drive. And those are my temperatures, as you can see. See if I can get a close up of these temperatures. I'm running at about 20, a little over 20, and a little over 30 so about 25. The highest the temperatures have been is in the 40s on idle. But the temperature is really nice. I wish I had a thermal gauge that I could show you guys the temperatures right now that are coming off the heat through the ventilation. It's really, really, really cool air that's coming out. It's not hot at all. It's not warm to the point where you would, be sweating a little bit from it. It's really, really quiet. Ever since I changed the thermal paste on this laptop, it's been running very, very, very nice. Hopefully I covered some of your questions for you guys. If you're looking for a good gaming laptop for your child, this is not one for them, but if they want to play Minecraft and stuff like that on there, this will do that for them. Like I said, this laptop was not meant for gaming. It was meant for, businesses to run in a work environment that was going to be needing a powerhouse and also a dedicated machine. A good gaming laptop I would assume would run you about $900 if you want something really good. The MSI laptops are really good gaming laptops. I don't really want to go into a rant and tell you, but to be honest, in my personal opinion, laptops were never meant to be used for gaming. They were meant for travel and portability. And since the demand for people wanted them to do gaming with, it's why they're working on laptops that are so-called gaming. But if you want something that's going to be able to play a lot of games and handle stress and stuff, a desktop computer with good performing hardware is probably your best bet. But if you want something portable, I'd recommend like an MSI laptop. Those laptops are pretty high end, and they'll run you a little over $800. You might be able to get one used. But the MSI laptops I recommend. I would avoid Alienware because they are a little bit overrated and you're just paying for a name. But I've owned an MSI laptop and they are pretty nice laptops. Thank you for watching, and if you have any questions, leave them below.